Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wadash. Double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. This is Rob. I'm off at the Nebraska camp. And yeah, man, I want to do a little lesson. Um, you know, where are the prophets? Okay? Where are the prophets? And I'm not speaking of the prophets of GMS. Speaking about these other camps, speaking about, these false prophets. Amid all this war, they get real quiet. They may mention it one time and it gets horribly broken down or deflected, or they talk about something else and then they mention, and then they'll just say in general, the Lord gonna take this all down, but they don't give sense to the matter. Okay, and that's our job as prophets, is to give sense to the matter. So when we go into Nehemiah 8:8, it says, so they read in the law of the Most High distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. And that's our job, as prophets, to sit upon the watchtower, and we'll get that. And we are to pretty much, warn the people beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and it says in Isaiah 21:5, it says, prepare the table, watch in the watchtower, eat, drink, arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus hath the Lord saith unto me, go set a watchman, go set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And this is why I ask, where are the prophets? Where are the prophets? And you go on their pages and you look in there, they're talking about the law, they're talking about marriage, they're talking about, the simple things in life. They're talking about maintenance, not where we should go, okay? Because this is not the time to be talking about marriage. It's not the time to talk about the woman's role in the house. A man should have to figure that out, man. I ain't saying that, hey, well, for the most part, men should figure it out. If you have a question, that's a question, but that's not something that we need to pump our brakes and talk about. All right, we're not here to talk about finances. We're not here to talk about, things that has no credence to the prophecies. Okay, when we get into the kingdom of heaven, we'll be worrying about marrying and giving in marriage. All right, but the scriptures tell you about those who worry about that, and those are the ones that got shut out in the days of Noah. Okay, pursuant to the it being brought back up into the New Testament. So that should tell you that these guys don't care for the flock. All right, so we're gonna get that. Yeah, we should be doing breaking news. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. There's no breaking news coming from these guys. There's no, keeping a lookout. There's no constant reminders on what Jake need to be doing. And because they've built their empire up off this 501c3 charter BS. And Slack when I go in first, my phone will shut up. They care not for the flock. So we'll get that in John 10:13. It says, the hireling fleeth because he is a hireling and careth not for the sheep. And Slakia, I read up a little bit. It says, John 10:11 says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd give his life for the sheep. Okay. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep. And the wolf hasn't come down yet. All right. But when the wolf started to come down here and there, when the wolf started tightening his grips, what did a lot of these guys say? Oh, we have no affiliation with said groups of whatever, whatever. They started distancing themselves. All right, which is bullshit and cowardice, you know. But because these guys put on a good show, they got good, they got a good soundboard, you know. They're uniform. They talk with a theatrical voice. They got lots of views. People don't really people don't pay it no mind, and they just roll with it, you know. But it's gonna come to a point that people are gonna want answers. All right, and these hireling understand that you guys want to hear smooth things. The scriptures tell you that, and that's why we as prophets, we don't really be tripping on it. We just calling it out. You know what I'm saying? And see here, Salakia. So Isaiah 30 and 10. Well, I started 30 and 9. It says, let me see, make sure. 30 and 8. Says, now go write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever. What is it talking about? These prophecies and things that's supposed to come to pass. And we're not writing it down. We're professing it in these times. And that time is supposed to be written down. And these times supposed to be proclaimed, because the Lord said He sent prophets against many countries and kingdoms to prophesy their downfall. All right, not to mention it in a general state. America's going down. Like, whoa, how? Report it. Okay? There's too much information that's going on. Hell, just today, Boots got on the ground. Boots, well, speculate. I got to go and check. But Trump's talking about hitting infrastructures and things like that, which is a war crime, because you're not supposed to hit bridges. You're not supposed to hit power plants, because now you're attacking citizens. And he never went through legislation to do this. So, that's why another reason why he's in such a hurry, I like to believe, is because he got that 90-day situation, them 3 months, to where he need to hurry up and do it before legislation gets involved, you know. But, ain't nothing going to happen anyway, because ultimately the Third World War going to come to pass, And this the point, is that these guys aren't talking about that, all right? But then you get people on the comment board amening them. Oh, you really killed it. There's going to come a time that the chickens are going to come home to roost. Okay. It says, Isaiah 30 and 9, or 30 and 8 says, now go, write it before them in a table and note it in the book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever. All right. And we're a part of that time. These times are coming to pass. It says that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. All right, so you're doing all that song and dancing and talking about the law, but they don't care about the law. They don't care about these prophecies. They don't care about getting out of here. They just want to be with their family, have fun and represent themselves as Israelites. They just like the idea of it. All right. It says, which say to the seers, and who are the seers? The prophets. All right, the ones that are telling you this is what's about to happen. The MOTB, the concentration camps. Okay. It says, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. So they want to hear about marriage. They want to hear about, Jacob's trouble is already past and ain't for us. They want to hear about the name don't matter. We're going to get it all. They don't want to hear about discipline. They don't want to hear about the fact that you got to die to this world and live in the Lord. What does that mean until a people like IUIC, when you're not into prophecies? How do you die to the world and live unto the Lord? To them, that's why they have to perpetuate the law. You know what I'm saying? Where's Yohanan and them doing? They're sitting there arguing back and forth for people that don't even care about prophecies. All right? Queen's Flip don't care about prophecies. That little Amalekite kid don't care about prophecies. Them people care about views. All right? They trying to go somewhere. They trying to splurge. They trying to go spend money. All right? These guys don't care about what the Lord cares about. All right? They don't care about prophecy. So why are you having fellowship with wolves? Okay? And then, okay, you having fellowship with wolves, but why aren't you warning the sheep about the things that are happening? You know why? Because you did all this studying, you got good memory, or you're studious, and you learned everything that you could learn, and then now you're trying to make money off of it. Okay? But meanwhile, these prophecies are coming to pass, and y'all so caught up into the world that y'all not bringing it out. You know? So, let's get this. All right, so we're gonna go into Romans 13 and 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. You know, and that's a main course of discussion. Main topic of discussion is salvation, getting the hell up out of here. From what? The said dangers. What are the said dangers? The Third World War, the MOTB, famine, concentration camps, the devil, Esau. So you're supposed to. There's every day there's something to report, even if it's every other day, whatever. But that you mean to tell me every time you put up a video is about the law, how to treat your woman, how to operate, how to be a better Israelite? Hey, figure that out on your own, man. That's not a hard thing to figure out. And if you're having difficulties, ain't nothing to ask somebody on the side if you're struggling with something. But that's not something that we have to, as a nation of Israel, we got to stop and talk about this every fucking week. How we're Israelites and they're not. So fucking what? If you don't get it at this point, then it ain't for you. Okay? We should just say that we're the true nation of Israel. Alright? People using our talking points, they know. So why is these same talking points being hit? Because it's controversy and entertainment. Y'all want to argue with somebody. Alright? So when you go into that word high time, I want to go into that word sleep and high time too. Go into that word sleep, it goes to hypnos, which just means to sleep. All right. And I'm going to the word high time. It says hurrah or it says a certain definite time or season fixed by natural law and returning with the revolving year of the seasons of the year, spring, summer, autumn, winter, daytime bounded by the rising and setting of the sun, a day, 12th part of the daytime, an hour, 12 hours of the day are reckoned from the rising to the setting of the sun, any definite time, point of time, moment. So this is a pivotal time, just like the Lord made days above other days. All right, this time is above other times. It's not the time to be talking about foolishness. And I ain't gonna say the laws is foolishness, so I'm talking about something redundant. It doesn't get you from point A to B. Okay? Having faith, the laws will help you, but you have to still follow the ways of the Heavenly Father, which is ultimately the prophecies. Is what I'm referencing, because there's a lot of things within the law that tells you to do things that has nothing to do with the prophecies. It's actually counterproductive. As I always like to mention, marrying and giving in marriage. The Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply." Okay, but it's also time that if you bound, seek not to be loose. If you loose, seek not to be bound. You know, woe to them who give suck in those days, right? Because of prophecy. So when you enter prophecy, you're going to move accordingly. And they're not moving accordingly. They're still stuck on stupid. They're still stuck on trying to maintain what they have and build a sure foundation in America, America is going to be destroyed. Okay? Knowing that heaven and earth shall be destroyed, when man and persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness. Right? So yeah, man, where are these prophets at? They're at GMS. That's where they're at, man. All right? We're the ones that's bringing out, what's going on overseas constantly. Not just once a month. All right? It's damn near every day, man. All right? It's really every day. MOTB, okay? The famine, the wildfires going on, Nebraska, West Nebraska, how that's going to affect, the oil. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting into all this, man. You know? So when shit hit the fan, they're going to leave a lot of their congregation and sitting in the dust, and they're going to try to run to the real prophets, and it's going to be too late, man. So Jake need to tighten up, you know. With that being said, I'll give all praises unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rechak double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.